there's this sentiment of civil war from Trump supporters. We've seen the conversation of civil war when he ran for president the first time. They threatened civil war when he got elected. They threatened civil war when he lost the election. There's an actual candidate. There's a congressional candidate who is known as the MAGA bride candidate. Because, can we get that picture? Let's put that picture up. She got famous because she wore a wedding dress, had her Make America Great, whatever, and she has her artillery. So she's known as the MAGA bride congressional candidate now. She's running in Michigan, GOP congressional candidate Audra Johnson, who became known as the MAGA bride after appearing at her wedding reception in a Make America Great Again dress in 2019, is warning of an impending civil war as she attempts to unseat a Republican incumbent who voted to impeach President Donald Trump for inciting the January 6th Capitol insurrection. Johnson, who is challenging Congressman Peter Meyer in the 2022 GOP primary, attended the January 6th Capitol insurrection, but claims she did not go inside the Capitol. However, she, and I quote, knew people that did. Her exact quote, according to the New York Times, a story that she did, we're headed toward a civil war if we're not already in a cold civil war. Now, who is this person? Even on her website, she doesn't give you a lot of background other than the fact she's married to a former military official. That is it. That's really her claim to fame. She says the tired ass Sean Hannity talking points, I support the police. They all say that obviously they don't mean the Capitol Police. And she supports America and she supports patriots. But I found an interview that she did, and this interview really tells it all. It's a short clip, but it says a whole lot. Play that clip.
Is it us against them? Is that how you look at it right now?
Right now, I look at it as patriots versus everybody, right?
Okay.
I mean, you either love the Constitution, willing to stand for it, willing to fight and work for it, or you don't,
Us against them, patriots against everybody. And remember, her form of patriotism is actually white nationalism cloaked in the disguise of patriotism. David, your thoughts?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, Audra certainly seems wound very tight. I don't know about you, Dr. Richey, but when I go to a wedding, sometimes I like to, I don't know, cut loose, let loose a little bit. Can you imagine going to a wedding where the woman shows up with a weapon like that? Nobody's gonna have any fun at that wedding. And secondly, I mean, on a more serious note, I hate it when people try to compare something that's happening now and say, oh, we're in another civil war. Because to me, it's not only historically inaccurate, but it diminishes the significance of the real Civil War. And that is 600,000 Americans lost their lives in the Civil War. We fought over something that was huge, and that is trying to end slavery. For Audra Johnson to say, oh, if I don't get my way, we're headed towards another civil war is absolute nonsense. And then the other part about it is, she's crazy. She's a lunatic. I mean, to suggest that it's us against them, that it's patriots who believe in the Constitution. I mean, you just established that the MAGA crowd doesn't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in protecting police or the Capitol Police. They don't believe in the institutions of government. And so to me, this is somebody who, look, maybe she's a nice person and maybe she's compelling in some sort of weird way, but I don't see that there's anything there that would cause the good folks in Michigan, even in a very conservative district, to somehow support her and support her calls for some kind of revolution or civil war if she doesn't get her way.
Let me tell you, David, we said the same thing about Marjorie Taylor Greene here in Georgia. Okay, we said the exact same thing about her. And she decided to run the campaign the way she wanted to run it. She was a QAnon believer. She spewed rhetoric about black folks, brown folks, gays and lesbians, Jewish people, and she got elected. She won her Republican primary in a solidly Republican district. And you have more of these individuals who really historically would have existed on the fringes of their political party, now becoming the main voice inside of their political movement on the conservative end.
Look, it's a good point, and I do think we're having more extreme people who are running for office, and they have a better chance now of winning in some of these seats than before. But maybe because of the experience of Marjorie Taylor Greene and because of the publicity that this Audra Johnson is getting in Michigan now, I think there's an opportunity, at least for more mainstream Republicans and certainly Democrats, to make sure, okay, you want to run this candidate, you want her to be the Republican nominee. We're going to throw everything against her and make sure that she doesn't get elected. Whereas I think Marjorie Taylor Greene may have snuck up on some people in Georgia, but in any case, look, I mean, it's not good for our politics when these are the sorts of people who feel emboldened to be members of Congress to run for office, because we spend so much time arguing over crazy stuff instead of trying to figure out, well, how can we deal with things like infrastructure and police reform and improving education and equal opportunity for everybody? Those are the serious issues we need to be focused on. Instead, we have these clowns who are distracting all of our attention.
She literally commits an act of terrorism. I know she says she did not go into the building. I don't believe her. I think she did. She says she did not go into the building, but she was with the crowd on January 6th. That crowd was part of a domestic terrorist attack in the United States of America against the US Capitol to literally stop a constitutionally mandated process. How can you be for the Constitution when you are bragging about being part of a crew who was actually against the US Constitution? Having that election certified is a mandate of the Constitution that thankfully Mike Pence had not drunk enough of the Kool-Aid to do. He did not drink enough Kool-Aid to stop that process. And look at where he's at now. He's getting booed at events that are conservative events. He went to a Christian event. He got booed at the Christian event. It's almost as if he meant absolutely nothing to the Republican movement. And this is a cult-like behavior, David. This is
I
part
agree.
of the cult.
And the fact of the matter is, even if Audra Johnson was not violent on January 6th, if she went into the Capitol building, she broke the law. She trespassed and she should be prosecuted, and she should therefore be barred or prohibited from being anybody's nominee, even for dog catcher, if that's what she wants to run for in Michigan.
Very well said.